Hi friends! Welcome back to day 3 of the Inktober Tangle Challenge. I'm Martha, a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we'll be exploring the Melvina tangle together. Just like the previous 2 days, I'll be showing you 2 ways to draw this tangle. I'll start with a simple version and then move on to a little bit more complex version. Starting in the bottom left corner, I've drawn 2 parallel lines. And then I've connected them with 2 diagonals to form a V. Above that V, I've added a small diamond. Above the diamond, I'm going to add 2 more diagonal lines, 2 more parallel lines, and then another V with those diagonal lines. I'm going to continue this pattern all the way across the tile. I'm going to end up with almost 3 complete diamonds going across this tile diagonally, but if you have a larger piece of paper, you might have twice as many. There's no right or wrong to this, and there's no exact number. Now we're going to color in those diamonds so that they are solid. And we have this nice balance between dark and light in the tangle. The final step is to add some shading. So I'm taking my graphite pencil and I'm going on the side of those V's that were created with diagonal lines and just adding a little bit of graphite and then smudging it in with the tortillon. Just blending that graphite into the paper and softening it up. So that is a simple version of the Melvina tangle. I'm going to go ahead and label it on the back, and then it's time to move on to a more complex version of this tangle. For the variation of the Melvina tangle, I'm actually going to use my tile from yesterday. So day 2 was the Seedways tangle, and this is what I drew on a Zendala tile. Now if you didn't draw along with me, or you don't have a Zendala tile, a round tile, you're welcome to just trace a round object that you have at home onto the paper that you have. So I'm crossing that first line with my pencil and creating an intersecting line. So I have an X in the middle of this circle, and then I'm going to continue on drawing more intersecting lines, creating a large checkerboard pattern. Notice that this checkerboard pattern is quite large, so really there's only 4 large spaces that are taking up the inside of the circle. I'm now going in and I'm going to draw these kind of arrow shapes. So in the middle of the paper where the pencil lines have intersected, I'm drawing 2 diagonal lines, 2 straight vertical lines, and then 2 more diagonal lines above. And so all these little arrows are pointing towards the center intersecting point. I'm now going to continue to create those arrows at all the other intersecting points that I drew using those diagonal pencil lines. And of course, some of those we will only see a portion of, but draw what you can see. Because of time, I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead, but please feel free to pause the video and take your time filling in this space with those arrows all pointing to the intersecting points. I'm finishing up my last one here, and it looks like I have about, let's see, 5 of these areas where I have arrows pointing to the intersecting points. I'm now going to start to draw diamonds or squares. It just depends on the way that your tile is turned. But I'm going to be drawing them between the various sets of arrows. Don't forget to continuously turn your tile. You want to make sure that you're comfortable when you're drawing and you're not, getting your arm or hand in an uncomfortable position when you're drawing these simple lines and shapes. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a few more of the arrow shapes between the squares or diamonds, again, depending on how you have your tile turned. When I saw one of the variations on the CZT's website, I got really excited and was thinking a lot about the patterns in Islamic art and the beautiful blue and gold and yellow tiles and mosaics that I've seen. And so that's really where I kind of started to take this tangle. So I'm going back in with my blue pen and I'm filling in those squares / diamond shapes that are between our arrows, and I'm going to fill those in. It's a little light right now, so in Zentangle we always want to have a nice balance between dark and light. So I'm going to fill these in so that they are solid. So now I'm going to go in with my blue charcoal pencil and add a little bit of shading in these arrow shapes in the side that is kind of pointing towards those intersecting points. And now I'm going to go in with my tortillon and soften up that charcoal and blend it into the paper. I had so much fun with this tangle. I just kept adding and adding. There were kind of like no rules for me on this one. So I grabbed a white jelly roll pen here and I've started to fill in this kind of small border between the Melvina tangle in the middle and the Seedways tangle from day 2. I'm just filling that in to add another dimension to this. I'm going to also go back in to the Seedways tangle and add some of that white ink there as well. So I'm adding the white to those curves and auras, which have created these kind of little borders or edges. They kind of remind me of like hems. There's something about that tangle that's very kind of lacy, intertwined fabric. And so I think about maybe the hem of the edge of a piece of fabric here. Well, I couldn't be done with it. So I felt like these kind of inner four areas, four squares, four diamonds, needed just a little something. So I picked up my gold jelly roll pen and started to fill those in with squares or diamonds. My pen wasn't working great, so I ended up going back and doing a second layer on top. I really wanted that gold to stand out nicely. You'll notice that those four areas that I'm filling in with the gold squares they don't really line up into it evenly, and that's something that happens. And that's what I love about this practice, is kind of learning to let go of that fixation on what we see as maybe a problem, or maybe it doesn't look as great as we want it to look. But instead of kind of just pushing it aside or saying, "Oh, I'm just going to start again," finding a way to problem solve. And so here I am. I'm taking this gold pen that's so different from the rest of the blue and white that were used, and the focus now is on these four gold squares. And I think so much so that you don't really notice the unevenness of what was drawn around them. Well, I couldn't stop. It was one of those tangles. I just kept saying, I'm going to keep doing something else. So I'm coming in with that gold jelly roll, and I'm kind of going over the pencil line that I started this tangle with, that kind of divided that circle up into that checkerboard layout, those intersecting lines. And I'm just adding a little bit of gold there to those intersecting points. I'm not tracing over all of the pencil line, but just there where they intersect between the arrow shapes. I'm going in now with a white charcoal pencil, and I'm actually going back to the Seedways tangle from day 2, and I'm adding a little bit of this white charcoal to those top layers. And now I'm going to go into the Melvina tangle in the center of this Zendala tile, and I'm going to add some white charcoal to the ends of the arrows. So on the pointed side of the arrow, I have that blue charcoal, and on the opposite side, I have this white charcoal. And I just think that's a nice little balance there of light and dark. And that, my friends, is the Melvina tangle along with the Seedways tangle. And I just think they make such a lovely pairing. It's this lovely geometric tangle in the center, the Melvina, against this very organic Seedways tangle on the border. I just think they look so lovely together. So yesterday, of course, I wrote day 2, Seedways, and today I'm going to add in day 3, Melvina. Always want to write down the names of the tangles so I can remember them in the future. I can reference back to them. And of course, I need to add my chop, so I'll do that right there. Thank you, friends, so much for joining me again for this Inktober Tangle journey. I have had such a great time with the Melvina and Seedways tangles, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye.